All right, what's poppin', Tub Nation? Welcome back to Tub Takes. This is a VGC video podcast where we go over what's been making waves in the VGC scene. Today, I am joined by my lovely co-host, Adi. How you doing?
Hello, it's good to be back. It's good to be here. And it's a banger episode. We got a regional champion, so it's always a good time.
Do we? I think we have a three-time regional champion joining us.
Wait, we have two three-time regional champions on the call.
Dude, he's coming after me. Listen, I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is kind of funny though. I don't know how many people are in the club, but anyways, Justin, you are the three-time regional champion in question, of course. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Good. Glad to have you here. And lastly, we have Billy here joining us after getting a top 8 finish. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Happy with the result.
Awesome to hear it. Oh, I realized that I actually can't see your picture. Maybe I'll toy around with that as we get into the episode, but whatever. We'll get that figured out. It looks like we're catching the Jody raid right here at the beginning. You guys are coming in just in time. Awesome. I'm realizing I'm going to try not to make too many Justin puns. I realize that might have come out across as a pun, but it was totally unintentional. Anyways, yeah, this is going to be, we're going to be talking about, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We're going to be talking about the upcoming Global Challenge and, of course, recapping San Antonio. This is going to be on YouTube tomorrow. If you're here now but know that you won't be able to make it for the whole stream, you can catch that tomorrow on YouTube. Or if you like to watch these things at like 2x speed or whatever, some people like it that way too. Or as Adi likes to suggest, you watch the stream and then also watch it on YouTube. Anyways.
Yeah, well, if you watch it at 2x speed, then you have time to watch it twice, right?
Yes, you're right. 100% right. So with that, though, I saved the meteor topic for last, and we're going to start talking about the upcoming Global Challenge first, because I imagine that we'll kind of cruise through this one, but just to let people know, it's not too late. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can still sign up for the Global Challenge. It is this weekend. Starting, if you're like here in NA like us, it starts in the middle of Thursday, basically. Like, man, I don't know what side of the time zones are for me. Is it 4? Does it mention it down here, actually?
I think it's
PST,
4 o'clock
right?
for you.
Does,
yeah.
Yeah, right there. Perfect. Cool. So
you have to lock
PST
your team when you sign up. So make sure you have your team ready when you're ready to sign up, but also make sure you sign up before 4 o'clock because otherwise, or 4 o'clock Pacific time, because otherwise you won't be able to play.
Yeah. And this is the first one back with players from Japan and the rest of Asia. This is the first one this is Global Challenge 1. We've done 3 grand challenges in the year 2024. Now we're back in 2025. Global Challenge is going to be playing with, I guess everybody. That's why it's called Global. I think Justin, you had a really solid finish in one of the grand challenges earlier this year, did you not?
Yeah, I finished top 16 in the last 2 GCs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I think the grand challenges are a lot easier than the global ones. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, wait! I thought you were saying the opposite.
No.
I've
I've never done well in the global ones, but the last 2 that we did without Asia and people were I think a bit easier because there's not as many people.
San Antonio champion calls NA, EU, and all the other non-Asian regions washed.
Not washed,
I'm in 100% agreement. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And I think actually, Billy, did you not get a top 32 as well?
I was 35th in the last grand challenge. I was 32nd with 10 minutes to go, and then 10 people passed me, and 5 of them couldn't get points. I was like, oh, maybe there's 3 more people, but unfortunately, I didn't get those 3 more to get the extra points.
That's rough.
Nobody here can relate, unfortunately.
Been there.
Nobody. Nobody.
No one else can.
Nobody I know.
Yeah. Well, so that's the one thing I wanted to talk about is that. So that happened to me as well in the first grand challenge. I know JB Boyd was complaining about it in my DMs, and he publishes all of his matches on YouTube. So he was also like 30th at the very end, and then didn't get the top 32 points in his last YouTube series. But this time, and so that's really frustrating. It's something that shouldn't be the case where everyone is going for the same cutoff, and so you're all kind of leapfrogging each other at the very ending. You're all like, do I play another game? Do I not play another game? You're kind of gambling on how many people are going to pass you after the deadline. And now we don't have to worry about that at all because there are going to be presumably looking at, Alex has the previous time's results on screen. Presumably there are going to be a number of Japanese players in that top 32 range. So you have no idea what your actual rank is. Unless you're in like the top 5, right? Like you have no idea what your actual rank is. And so this whole like game of chicken, do I play another one? Do I not play another one? It's just not going to exist this time. It's really going to be, do your best and go for your best possible performance.
Mm-hmm. It is almost like a little too up in the air for you to like make a 100% call. But like, you as the higher you get, the like less percentage of Japanese players would be above you and so on and so on. So like you can't like say, be 30th and expect to get like top 8 or something like that. You might be able to maybe jump to top 16 depending on how many players are above you, but we are all fighting for slightly different goals now. I think things are a little bit different this year. You can see the championship point payouts were far different in the past year. 160 for first is not that different from the 170 we have for first now, but it immediately cuts to 130 all the way down. Somebody who did very well, got 19th overall, is getting 60 points. Am I seeing this correctly? Like it's just crazy how
60.
much.
What?
I know.
That's,
like
that's
19
like
is
ninth
no
place, right? It's top 16.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's no joke. That's a really solid run. And they're a mere like I guess like it's like 40 points behind first. I'm something like that, 70 to 13 or something. So
100 points though. That's crazy.
But so much CP, and so now it's a lot more top heavy, which is cool. And that's so they have that, and then for Japan, it's actually a bit different. They have top 120 now instead of 150. So actually, it's harder to qualify in an individual competition. But like the first one, to be like in that first wave, only 120 instead of 150. They will have 4 total now. They used to have 3. The dates of those are already announced, so we know when all those are going to be happening, and they're all going to be in Regulation G. Regulation G running from January to April. So if you see any good best of 1 ideas, make sure to save them, tuck them away, because you're going to be playing Reg G best of 1 for a couple of tournaments upcoming. Still for us players in the West, 3 BFL, right? So Justin, we were just talking about your 2 top 16s. If you get 1 more finish in top 32, you would be kind of just chilling at that point. Not a lot of points left to gain. Yeah, if you got another, let's say you just repeat it and get another top 16, would you still play them? Would you tap out? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Like maybe I might stop like at least for this global challenge. I don't have a whole lot of time to play, so I might just tap out early, and then for the next 2, I'll try to win because I already have my invite.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean realistically, like I don't need to stop for the top 16 anymore because I have the auto qualification. But
That's right.
But like if I didn't, yes, I would probably stop the top 16. And but yeah, for the future, I would probably try to win 1 if possible. But that's kind of hard.
Yeah, there's like all kinds of different reasons to still grind, I guess. Like you're already qualified for Worlds, of course, but maybe if you care about travel awards, both to
right.
NAIC or Worlds, it really depends. But you also could just sit back for the rest of the season. You are basically locked in. But yeah, I don't know.
We saw how important that was.
I know. I don't miss it though. I feel
yeah.
like it's nice.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm actually curious because, and we've been asking a couple different people this, but now that you've won a regional, what are your plans for the rest of the season? Are you going to, continue going to events, or are you going to really be grinding for that first round bye, or are you going to be sitting back, relaxing, kind of taking enjoying your little vacation from VGC before the World Championships?
Right. I think they actually got rid of the first round bye. Is one thing I know.
That's
so
what we're saying. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I'm pretty sure it is. Like,
yes.
there's not like really.
It's just travel.
Like, I don't think that's like that's a huge thing. It's like I guess this is travel words, right? I guess if you finish that, that's really it. But I mean, currently I only have the ICs plan. Like I already booked London, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pretty close to get the NIC TA. So if I get that, then NIC it would be nice to get uh the priority sign up as well. So that's all I have planned at the moment. Maybe if Sheelan cooks another team I can steal before regional last minute, I could. But currently, no plans for that.
Yep. I
Cool.
was gonna say that at the end of the day, like we are players that are competing for worlds invites. There's a lot of different reasons to compete, and when the championship points start to become pointless as you have an auto invite and stuff like that, there are still other reasons. Like if you're looking for prize money, that's nice too. But like also, I think a lot of players do play because they just want to do well, to just be
Yeah.
recognized as like a strong player, of course. And so and I mean you're getting up there. I don't know. It's funny that you so quickly have reached the 3 regional club. I don't know how many people are in this one. It took me a couple more years to get there than you. I'll admit that. But it's quite funny though that I don't actually know how many people have done it. I think
Yeah,
Jamie. Actually Ani mentioned Jamie Boyd earlier. I think Jamie Boyd might be a
I think
3-timer.
Jamie Boyd is a 3 time. I actually asked this question yesterday because I know Len mentioned that during the I guess when the finals was over, like I joined the 3 time club, and he said there wasn't many. So like I was also thinking that like how many are there
Mm-hmm.
actually?
For an old one, I think did Randy might be one, Randy Qua. But I'm trying to think of like more recent ones because like it is, it's an interesting number. There's a couple of people that have done 2. There's a couple of people who have won like a ton, like obviously Wolf and Riley and stuff like that. But like specifically 3, I don't know. Alberto maybe. Alberto might be a 3.
I'm not so
You want
sure. Maybe.
Zach Drudgecamp won 3 straight. Don't forget that one.
Oh,
True.
Yeah, back in the
But
day.
Zach
that's a
has
good
won
one.
4 total, I think, or is it?
I think so.
I think
That was his
so.
4. He's one up us.
True. True, true. But yeah, bringing it back to the GC though, instead of just ego stroking and stuff like that. Let's talk about these numbers here, just really quick. The numbers, I just wanted to take a quick look at how they changed over time, because over the past year, like, I do think like the goals have been wildly shifted. Like NA is motivated to go for the top and stop at top 32. Um, Japan has to technically work a little bit harder in each individual one because they have to reach top 120. So the numbers, oh, Gavin, yeah, Gavin I think is a 3-time, yeah. But yes, and then in the last one, it looks like a lot of championship point players actually finished all the way at the top before some of the Japanese players, probably because a lot of Japanese players we're really playing it safe for the last chance to qualify for Worlds. There's no glory in winning it. I mean, there is glory, of course. There's no glory, but there's no like. It's not necessary. I guess it's just glory.
Right. And if you look at these standings, what normally ends up happening is the top 16 in all of these has been dominated by Western players. It's been 8 or 9 Western players in the top 16, and then there's the next like 100 slots are basically all Japanese players. There's maybe 10 Western players in the next between number 20 and number 120, and that is just a product of the incentive structure where the Japanese players really did not have a reason to push much further than whatever the cutoff was. I think last year was top 150. Now it's top 120. They didn't have much of a reason to push further than that. And the Western players, there, as you can see, the prize for winning one of these is 160. So people really wanted that 160 points. The difference between getting 80 and 60 points is not a ton. So people really would push for the very top. Now it's a little different because we both have different incentives. Now I think Western players, we really do want that top 32 cutoff. That's really the lucrative one. And once you go below that, or you're placing within that top 32 is not very important. You don't gain a ton of points for going from 32nd to first. I think 32nd to second is the same number of points gained as 32nd to 33rd, which is like crazy to me still. But so like there's not a ton of incentive to push further than that. Japanese players don't have a ton of incentive to push beyond 120. So it would not shock me as a result to see, if you get 150th place in this GC, if you got top 64 points. But then if you get, 40th place, you might not get top 32 points. If that's something crazy like that happened, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, while the numbers might be wildly different than past years, and this is never going to be financial advice, like, just you're going to have to wait till the end, keep an eye on it, and ultimately make that call for yourself where you're comfortable parking. We're not going to be able to just sit here and tell you like this number is going to be exactly what you need to finish at. Like it's not like something we can predict. Looking at these though, roughly just over 1800, 1810 to 1820 has been the win. Going for the win though is kind of like it's a different game. But top 32, 1769 here, 1755, 1752, a slight decline as it went on, but regardless, like middle of the road 1700s was enough for top 32. I would not be surprised to see that number go up just because of how much more incentive there is for NA to really push to get into that top 32. Or not NA, but just any of the championship point earning regions.
It's really interesting. I was looking up the Grand Challenge results, and the first Grand Challenge, the top 32 cutoff, was actually 1792, which is crazy, right? And that is so much higher than these global challenges with more players. Whereas the Grand Challenge 3 was much lower. It was like 1750 something. And I think Grand Challenge 2 was also 1750 something. But yeah, it really is unpredictable, even from tournament to tournament, what this cutoff is going to look like.
Yeah, I guess if we don't really have a way to give you more info on the number, then we probably could just move on along. I'm just very interested to see what this first one will tell us, and if we can use that to make any inferences about the ones that we play in later. There are going to be 4 total global challenges, so make sure you have answers to Smeargle Muck, I guess. Jacob bringing up Smeargle Muck. Make sure you have an answer to like the most degenerate Dondozo teams you can imagine, and as well as everything meta. I would not be surprised. My current prediction is that too many people are going to be using Imprison Calyrex Ice for no reason in particular.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, so I can. I'm going to ask Justin what his advice is after I give my advice, but I've been playing a lot of best of one just because I haven't had a regional yet. And so a few things that I've noticed is that like the Balancy Calc Shadow teams are very strong just because they are so ignorant of what your opponent is trying to do, and they are so unpredictable because Calc Shadow has 3 or 4 different moves it can run in that last slot. It has a couple different setup moves it can use, and a bunch of different items it can use. And so it's really hard to predict. But also as a result, people will just like, if you're running Calc Shadow, you should expect to run into like a Terra normal or a dedicated Terra to that people are using to beat that is going to surprise you. It's really like I've seen both of those. I've seen a lot of Terra normal, but I've also seen a lot of Calc Shadow, like very boring looking Calc Shadow teams, relatively high on the best of one ladder. And then I've seen a lot of like Iron Valiant is another Pokemon just because it has so many moves that it can run. And in open team sheet, we saw it have a lot of success at the World Championships, where what it's running. But in closed team sheet, it has basically every move under the sun. So you have no idea what it's going to use, and you have to play around 7 or 8 different moves. And I think those are the type of Pokemon that really overachieve in the Grand Challenge. Terapagos is another one where I've gotten Meteor Bean by far too many Terapagos on the best of one ladder recently. It's very frustrating. You just never know what you're gonna see out of that guy. And then if you are looking for something spicy, I did lose to a Grovyle earlier today. They led Grovyle Primarina, and they went for pledges. And it was Sash Grovyle. And then they went for Unburden Endeavor and Hyper Voice and just knocked me out. And I was like, well, that's cool. I guess I lose. So I'm not going to lose that again, but that is something to look out for if you are if you see that.
I'll jump in here next, and then both of our guests, if you guys could think of some advice for the upcoming global challenge, we'll hit you guys up next. But for me, I would say that I don't think you should be playing it safe for a Reg G global challenge. I've had a couple of coaching students come to me with some relatively reasonable looking teams that you might show up to a regional, but I think that this is a format where you get rewarded for going degenerate and trying to cheese out a win against a certain other like restricted Pokemon. We keep picking on Shadow Rider, and I'm happy to pick on it because I hate that Pokemon to death. But run that Terra Dark, Terra Blast on a Pokemon that you're gonna use to just dunk on Shadow Rider. Like, why not? Like, do have like crazy weird silver bullet win buttons built into your team, because like as soon as the restricteds fall apart, a lot of the game plans do fall apart. There are a couple of Pokemon that could match the power level of restricteds, like Crunch Lando I. That's a great example. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, the Scarf Lando, just run Crunch on it for fun. Run Terra Dark on it because you know, you want to get rid of your water weakness and something like that, but you can also boost the power of your Crunch. It's just goofy, but like it doesn't seem that unreasonable. And just ideas like that, I think you're supposed to cook in Reg G. I think you could have gotten away with a lot safer style of teams in Regulation H, but I think that this format is going to reward the stupid stuff. But don't run Lugia, please, Jacob. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I could talk about some BO1 stuff because I've been somewhat playing and hearing some things about it. Like the Valiant stuff's actually really interesting. When I was practicing, a lot of the Japanese were running like Moonblast Valiant, which like catches off like my Mystic Water Urge. I just die in one hit. I'm like, oh wait, there's your Spirit Break, and then like stuff like that's kind of annoying. Um,
Yep.
I think Shadow Rider, yeah, Shadow Rider's be really annoying in CTS because it has so many sets it can run. You can run the Choice Specs, Life Orb, Covert Cloak, 10 million different terrors like Dark, Normal, Fairy, Grass, all of them you can name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard to cover for all of them. I feel that you can get away with a more standard team sometimes. Like I know Shilang, when we are getting ready for San Antonio, he hit rank 10 before we head over. So kind of using a BO3 team for BO1 can still work, but you kind of still get Sky play better and expect the weird stuff. But there's a bunch of cool decks you can run, like the Valiant. Kyogre's also another one. I know Japan likes Kyogre, like Choice Specs, Choice Scarf. They like click buttons.
Yeah, those Pokemon that have like 18 different moves and you have to cover for all of them are just going to be really strong. You know, you don't have to pick, like, you can pick the 4 that are best for your team, but if your opponent has to be guessing when they're up against it, that's just more chances for them to make mistakes. What about you, Billy? What do you think is some good advice for people playing the global challenge this weekend?
Yeah, I think in terms of like Shadow Rider, the problem with Shadow Rider that you would run into is like you're gonna run into the mirror way too often, I feel like,
Sure.
and if you run into the mirror, you have no idea what to expect. So I think, in my personal opinion, a mon like Kyogre would be like really strong in the GC because you do have that variety of you could run Calm Mind lefties, you could run straight up Water Spout and nuke things off rip, and there are times that they won't have a response to that early.
Mm-hmm.
So just having that like variety, but being able to reliably not run into mirror matches where you could also get bullshitted out of a win and lose immediately, I think something like that is definitely very strong. Um, because like in that circumstance, mons like Zamazenta or Calyrex Ice Rider, you'll know exactly what they're going to do 95% of the time, so they'll struggle into those matchups for that reason. So I definitely think that variety in what you are capable of is much more important than actually what you're running and the strength of it.
Yeah, I don't think mirrors are very fun to play, especially CTS mirrors. Like, you know, they might be really hard tech to beat the mirror while you're trying to have a wider matchup spread, and that's just gonna make you angry. So, 100%. With that though, let's go ahead and move on to talking about San Antonio and why Calyrex Ice with Imprison might pick up in usage
No.
for the upcoming global challenge. I don't know if I necessarily advise it, but I definitely think people are going to go that route. Um, Justin, you ended up taking the whole thing with a team that you and Shilyang and I think a couple of others worked on. I know that there was like I think 4 people in your group, maybe some people at
Yeah,
home too. Why don't you tell us a bit about it?
William, Nicholas Donnelly. Those are
Mhm.
the people. Only 4 of us ran it for this tournament.
Got it. Got it. Um, So yeah, I know that you'll probably do like a team report on your own channel and stuff like that, so we can save that for then. But if you don't mind giving us like just a quick version of like how the team came to be, like when did it start? I think I heard you in your interview say like Christmas or something, maybe a little earlier than that.
Yeah. So Christmas is when we kind of revisit this idea. Well, Steeling wanted to revisit this idea because when he did really well in Battle Stadium before Worlds, he got like top 10. And the version before was like a Grimmsnarl variant with like Rillaboom instead of Rory Moon and Among Us. And we were testing around it, but it wasn't really like it kind of fell off like for the current metagame. So we had to make adjustments, and we added the Mungus and the Rory Moon around that time, and we started getting more practice with it. I gave it to my senior for Birmingham, and he was doing really well with it. And that's kind of how the team came together. It was kind of revisiting an old idea and adjusting it to the current metagame, mostly teching more for CSR and Zama, which were starting to trend more. And we realized that without Rillaboom, we could still beat Miraidon because Among Us Lando and Terrafair Calyrex were all like good versus it. So you don't need Rillaboom as a Miraidon matchup. But yeah, I mean the team's pretty straightforward. You have double redirect, you have speed control with Trick Room or Tailwind, and these features are really weird. Like we saw on stream, like Urshifu and Lando are very fat, but they can either abuse a Trick Room or you can use them in Tailwind. So that's kind of the whole idea.
Honestly, that part I know that like you said, Tail Room already existed in Reg H or sorry Reg G because there's like the Miraidon teams kind of doing that, but I just did not think Cali Ice was going to be the Pokemon to do it at the very least, in a way like this. But Roaring Moon ended up looking like a pretty genius pick for a couple of reasons. The typing is just so like perfect for what it's trying to do. Really good for resisting things like Astral Barrage. It's not able to get hit with like a Prankster Encore or something to get locked into Tailwind. I don't know. There was like a lot of really cool positive traits about that Pokemon. So definitely looked like the at least in my opinion, like the most standout Pokemon on the team. Because the rest of these Pokemon, you've probably seen these on a Cali Ice team at other points in the format. But Roaring Moon, Calyrex Ice, that's probably the thing that stood out to me the most.
Yeah, Moon was busted. It just made the CSR matchup a lot more playable because I think the Cali Ice teams at the time, like they had to tech like at least one piece for for CSR. Like you have a Pokemon like Fergaraf or like Wideguard Pelipper. But like I liked how Moon gave you like a fast mode, like either a Viet Kane with knockoff or like Tailwind Surge Strikes KO or something. Always felt nice.
Was there anything going into the tournament that you didn't want to face that you were like really like looking to avoid?
Oh yeah, definitely. The top 8 Miraidon Dozo team was really hard, and I'm really glad we didn't face it. Like we practiced against it like 2 times, and we had no winning replays versus it. the the for his name, he goes by Mitsu. Dozo Miraidon. That team was just so hard to break because you can't
Oh,
spore the Dozo because the extra terrain,
yes, that
and
one.
then the Chiyu plus Miraidon just exerts so much pressure on lead, and it just like pinned the whole team. It was super annoying to break.
The team
I think that
from
was one.
Worlds, you're saying?
Yeah. This one was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think like we knew going to the tournament like this team wasn't common and it doesn't really have like a great matchup spread like outside of our team. So like it was okay to sack. Um, Another thing that was a little bit annoying was I guess the update in Michael Kelch's team, like the one he brought at Worlds, but they run Among Us instead of Rilla. Because they came down to lots of sleep turns, and then the Goggles Urshifu plus their own Among Us felt like really annoying. Kind of similar to this, but they had
Oh, they still had the
Ursh
Goggles
over
Ursh, I see.
the Bolt, right, or whatever. That's a little
Mm-hmm.
annoying.
Gotcha.
But besides that, I think that was really it with like matchups I would like to avoid.
And I guess like one more quick one is on the flip side, was there anything that you were like super targeting that you were like, really looking forward to playing because you knew it was going to be popular and you were having a good matchup into it?
Groudon. I only pulled one Groudon. Actually that one was like it's
Was that
certain bears of
true?
Groudon. Like the Groudon I faced
The
round
meta
one was a
manip
little harder.
allegations?
Yeah. The Groudon I faced in round one was like Sheaflar. That's a little annoying, but like the more like I didn't face any of the standard jump off ones that Carson did well with. If I pulled anyone in that group, I felt like I had a pretty good matchup with like the Heart Flame, and then they can't really bring jump off completely because Glacial hits their whole team, and then Landorus also hits their whole team. I remember talking to Carson, and that's why he ran Max Speed Ogerpon was so he could actually outspeed Landorus because Landorus kind of just destroys that whole team otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I pulled maybe a little bit more Groudon, and maybe I think the Miraidon variants that had Dark Urshifu, those were a lot easier to deal with because I mean I had Terra Fairy Calyrex, right? I could wall the
Mm-hmm.
hands, I could wall the Ursh, and be immune to Draco. I didn't face any of the Dark Ursh variants, but that was another one that I think was a little bit easier for me.
Um, did you have Fairy Ursh before Rio? Or not Fairy Ursh,
Yes, we
Fairy
did.
Ice Rider.
Yes, we did. We were
Okay.
normal originally, but we changed to Fairy because Birmingham was before Rio, right? Because
They were
that's what
the
Louis.
same weekend, but yeah.
Oh, the same weekend. Well, I guess we
Yes.
came out at the same time, I guess, or maybe so because Louis won Birmingham with Terra Fairy,
Got it.
and we've
Got
been
it.
on that
Okay.
for a while.
Was there like any changes? I know that you probably got some decent feedback from that tournament.
Yeah. He gave us some good notes. I think we ended up using the same spreads. Like the
Mhm.
same spreads I gave him, we used again. We just kind of I think we tweaked some spreads. I think we made like the moon maybe a little bit bulkier or something. Like Shilling was worried about the Dozo matchup, so he made like I think the Roaring Moon take like an order or something. I don't remember exactly, but everything else was like the same, from my knowledge.
Oh yeah, I forgot to be kind of following along with chat. If you guys have any questions, of course, let me know. One person's asking, do you think you had a good matchup into the team that won Rio, the team that won with?
I think so. The mirror usually comes down to like things like with Terra, Water, Lendo, and your own Ursh, you're just kind of trading really well. And we actually practiced this matchup. Like we found that they couldn't really bring Bolt. Like whenever we brought Bolt in practice versus us, like we were just losing. And we found out that like if you did something like Lando, Ursh, Among Us, Kali, Ice in some order, that felt like pretty strong. All you had to do was like preserve Terra on the Ice Rider because you're Terra Fairy.
Yeah.
Because like it's tempted to Terra Water Lando in this matchup, but the awkward part is because they have Dark Ursh and Kali Ice, it's like like, those guys like pin like either Lando or the Kali Ice. And we found that
Mhm.
as long as you preserve Terra and you're an Ice Rider, you're kind of fine in this matchup.
Got it. But yeah, I don't want to go too in depth because of course I would want to check out your team report when you do that on your own YouTube. We'll make sure to plug that
Yep.
at the end as well. But
Thank you.
I
You can plug it right now. I'll
well,
link it
I
right
guess
now.
we can plug it right now. I
Thank you.
don't have the link available. Is what I mean.
It'll be in the description in the YouTube video as well. But I'm gonna go find a link for it right now.
Great.
All right.
Yeah, we were gonna record it I think Thursday when he's free. So
Awesome. So yeah, how about that second place team? I
yeah.
guess actually outside of like the team specific stuff, like that part was easily the coolest storyline of the weekend. We haven't seen this happen in a minute. The most recent one I remember is a 2019 regional between Ashton and Jeremy Rodriguez. They both made it to the final. Funnily enough, with like a max attack Lunala or something like that.
Right.
It has its own
Yeah.
share of funny stories. But yeah, how was that? Just reaching the final with your team building partner running the exact same thing.
I mean, it felt great, honestly. I remember the first time we, I guess, truly worked together after Worlds was at Peoria, and I remember we titled that team Tang's fourth regional win, and he got pretty close to top four, but since then we've been working together since, and like we've been close to making that. Like I think Toronto was the closest we both made a decent far run cut. Like at the same time we both finished top 16 in Toronto, but this was the first time we went way past that. Finals was something that it's like a dream come true with any team building partner. I feel like dodging Shutter for that bracket because at Worlds he eliminated me at 4-2 in the mirror. So it felt good not to be eliminated that early and to face him in finals as well, and to actually beat him in the Ditto because he's really good at beating people in mirrors. Every time I've heard a story of him facing someone in the mirror, he always wins. He beat Andrew Ding at Indy. He beat me at Worlds. And he beat Marcus at Yokohama Worlds. So he's really good at mirrors. So it felt good beating him in this one.
Yeah, I don't mean for anybody to like say who did more work on the team, but as far as it seems like Shiliang is like a lot of the times like just like a crazy builder. It seems like he puts in a ton of work with the theory and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I guess it kind of stands to reason that he knows how to dismantle his own team in a way
Yes.
that is kind of funny. How selfish of you to win though. You could have been 2-2 regional wins, but instead it's 3-1. I think Shiliang will probably get his second at some point down the road because that guy seems pretty good at Pokemon.
He's pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna say that like, I gave him top cut Worlds. Basically, he knocked me out, and he in return he gives me a medal. So I think it's like pretty even.
So I did just have the realization that there was actually another mirror match in the finals of a regional this year, this past season. Do you guys remember?
What?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This year?
Yeah, this season.
This season.
Yeah.
In H then?
Yeah, in Rec H.
Really?
Yeah, it was Do you want to spoil it?
Oh, somebody in chat said it, so I saw it.
Yeah, it was a Gotti versus Sebas. They had slightly different sets, but they didn't work together. And they had a 6-1
right. But I forgot about that.
I would say that that's close enough to call it. Of course, it wasn't like an exact, but that's like work together and same six.
Right.
Just
Same
the parts
6
that
different
they.
sets, right? That was the only
Yeah.
difference. Okay.
Which one was this
So
again by name? It was
Joinville. This was Joinville. But
Joinville.
yeah, I mean, it's
right.
so hard to see this. It's so infrequent that we see this happen because not only do you guys both have to be like on your A game and killing it, but also you have to be on opposite sides of the bracket, which I think we've seen so often that just isn't the case. And you see team kills like we saw Marcus and Carson have the team kill
Yes.
each other in top 4 of I think it was Sacramento regionals. Stuff like that happens all the time, and so yeah, you guys have to get that the coin flip right to be on opposite sides of the bracket as well. And yeah, it was really cool to see. It was
Truly, truly awesome. But yeah, jumping ahead, we'll talk about some more of the other teams in Top Cut, but I wanted to talk about Billy's team here with the Smeargle, the best Smeargle player at the tournament. Actually, best a couple of Pokemon, Blood Moon as well. And yeah, so why don't you, again, without launching into a full team report, tell us a bit about your team, Billy.
Yeah, so I've been waiting to use a team like this for quite a while because I was very new to VGC when all the way back in Indy at my first event. I saw a Japanese player using a like very similar team. It didn't have Indeedee, it was Annihilate, and then the Ogerpon mask was like flipped. It was like Water Ogerpon. Saw it and I was like, oh, let me make this open team sheet. Started playing with it for a while. Said this team has 0 Miraidon matchup, so put Indeedee on it. And Ogerpon has been like a staple Pokemon for me for the longest time. So I was like, that Pokemon is not getting dropped. So I think like 2 weeks before the tournament, it was Annihilate instead of Urshifu. And then I didn't bring it for a week straight of testing matches. Like I literally did not bring it to a single matchup. So I was like, something has to change with it. Eventually came to the Choice Band Urshifu. Do I think it should have been water form? Probably, because it did. The fact that it was dark type did not help me at all in the tournament. It only hurt me, especially in the mirrors, because I lost 3 out of 5 of the mirrors that I played, and they were my only losses in the tournament.
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted to dodge Zamazenta, and I did not play a single Zamazenta in the tournament. There was no Zama Amoonguss in sight, and for that reason, I was like, oh, I could make my first cut if I do that, and didn't end up making the first cut. So,
yeah, the let's see, that's something that I do think is legitimately I know, Mike. I'll let you piece this one together. I don't know if you're following along with the Twitch chat, Billy, but anyways.
oh my, yeah.
Anyways, that is something that I think more people need to do when they're going to Regulation G tournaments is to kind of just like accept that there are going to be like some holes in your team, and that as long as you don't play them a overwhelming amount, that you'll still be able to come out on top. Ideally, you never play them, and then you're just chilling. But even in like building in a not building in, I guess it sounds like a weird way, but like planning on having a weakness to Zamazenta, and then just saying if I feel good into everything else, I'm not gonna lose. It's a strategy that is punishing in a way. You can't lose a matchup to something else that was not planned. I guess if you're planning on losing to Zamazenta when you face it, then you have to beat everything else. And if you can do that, I think that it's a totally valid approach to tournaments. I feel like I've done that a couple of times at the most recent tournaments where I'm just like building in a planned loss and just expecting all right, well, I'm not going to fight Joe on his Sun team twice in the same tournament, and then you fight Joe twice in the same tournament, and then you're like, maybe this isn't actually a viable strategy. But anyways, jokes aside, though, I do think it's very reasonable for Regulation G. There are it's quickly becoming 8 viable restricteds. Groudon, I kept saying, like, all right, it's basically 5. I don't want to count Kyogre or Koraidon or Groudon, but Koraidon got top 8 here. Groudon is still continuing to have reasonable success. And the Kyogre teams as well. It's just the graphic shows 8 restricteds, and I feel like you kind of have to prep for 8 restricteds right now.
I'd go as far as saying 9 restricteds. We saw that Zacian team that kind of popped off this tournament.
Nah, I don't care about that dog, dude. That dog sucks.
Fair enough. But you're gonna lose to it. You're gonna run into Jackson or something, or you're gonna run into Kian.
Dude, Terra Fairy Ice Rider won the tournament. That guy hates to see a Zacian coming. You know he hates to see a Zacian coming.
Yeah, actually, because we're Terra Fairy, I told you, like, okay, we don't have any Zacian games, but maybe we should do like one set to see how it plays out, just in case we did. So yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're not going to auto lose to it. You've got like redirection and stuff like that. You're going to be able to, try to keep those behemoth blades off of your Calyrex. But it is kind of funny that way. That there's just there's like 2 steel moves in the whole format. And so it is very reasonable for Calyrex to maintain a steel weakness pre and post Terra. That's not very often exploitable. So pretty fun.
I also think
I don't want to click player. That thing sucks. Go ahead.
I also think on that note, you're talking about, okay, you can kind of afford to concede a matchup. I think that's also where knowing like what the regional trends are is really important. You can't just if you're going to a North American event, looking at what happened at the EU regional is not always the most informative. And I think before this regional, I was kind of telling everyone, like just because Ice Rider only had 1 slot in top 8 of Birmingham doesn't mean it's going to do poorly, because NA players love Ice Rider. We have the biggest hard on for Ice Rider. And on the other hand, on the flip side, the Europeans tend to love Shadow Rider, and Shadow Rider was, I think, 2nd in usage at Birmingham. It was like 4th or 5th in usage at San Antonio. And so that was also just like, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, there are not a ton of NA players who have used Shadow Rider and done very well. And Dawe obviously kind of broke that. But other than Dawe, there was 2 total in top cut. Like there were not a ton of Shadow Rider doing well in this tournament. And I think that's something that like you could have called out. You could maybe, you could have maybe had a worse matchup into that and accepted that as your auto loss. Not auto loss, but variants of Shadow Rider as a worse matchup, and that would have been a reasonable call going into an NA regional.
Yeah, I think Maridon also really underperformed here in NA. I think it dropped pretty hard. Bruno, thank you for the gifted subs. Let's go. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. Welcome into Tub Nation. I see you, Soab. And I didn't know if you were hanging out in the stream because you're just lurking, but I see you in there now. Anyways, I did want to say though, bringing it back to like the caption I put on the tweet. I don't know why I put it in there. I just said, "Is Reg G saved or still cooked?" I just needed something to make the tweet a little more, because I didn't have anything else to put in this. But I do think legitimately I felt a lot more inspired to continue to play Reg G after seeing your win, Justin, with this team, because it is significantly different than things we've been seeing. There was the coming off of Birmingham, it was looking, kind of depressing, if I'm being completely honest. Not because like I don't vibe that much with the teams that got 1st and 2nd, which is the truth of it. I mean, they're like not teams that I would have any interest in playing myself, but they are 2 teams that we literally saw at the World Championships. And it was looking like, okay, Reg G's already all figured out. And I was definitely saying that myself. I'm not somebody that's currently hardcore grinding Reg G. I'm definitely sitting on the sidelines a bit because I'm not going to any tournaments until Vancouver. But sitting on, on the sidelines, I'm just looking at this format and saying like it's already like figured out. People know what they're doing. There's not much left to do. You can just change a Terra type on your Urshifu, and that's going to be enough to like mix up the gameplay into some teams or whatever. But this team, it was significantly different enough, not only in like some of the choices, but with the EV spreads. And we've already talked plenty about your team, but I also think like, Dawe's team is another team that like gives me hope for like Reg G. This team, I hate Shadow Rider. I hate Shadow Rider to death, of course. But this team, I cannot deny this team is cool as hell.
I think this is what Zach used at the World Championships. Zach Dredge Camp. I'm not sure how similar it is, but
I believe they work together.
Okay, I think it was like 5 months different. I know it looked very similar though. It's Dawe's always been the Dozo Tinglu core.
Yes.
For the longest time. So
Dawe's been on it for a minute, and Zach joined in, but I'm pretty sure it might be a Dawei original from what I've talked to Zach. And
okay,
yeah, the Dozo Ting Lu paired with like sub, there's just so many uh things here that are just like, I don't know, that it and so many people are always like, can you really use Ting Lu with Calyrex Shadow? Like, it's gonna reduce your own special attack. I don't know. I feel like it's just like the way that the team plays is it sets up in a obnoxious early game between Ruination, Sandtomb Yawn, and Stealth Rocks. And then cleans up with an obnoxious late game, a Life Orb Shadow Rider that's faster than your whole team, maybe with Tailwind, maybe with Helping Hand. Um, yeah, the team is so sick, and it looks like it was a good weekend for Hearthflame, just as a general meta trend. All the teams that we've talked about so far have Hearthflame, of course, Mirror Finals, but William, your team, or Billy, your team featured Hearthflame, uh, and then Hearthflame on this team. Like, that guy is quickly becoming one of the pillars of this metagame.
Yeah, I think it's notable too that Hearthflame, the adaptation that made it so popular is the fact that people were always going all out just offense with absolutely no bulk on Ogerpon, and I think Dawei's Ogerpon was bulky too, meaning every single Ogerpon that was in Top Cut, with the exception of the Sun one, was very bulky. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think that adaptation made like a very big difference, and it makes it excel very much because it's a follow me user that can click Terrify or Ivy Cudgel and blow things up, but it also just has so much bulk when you invest into it.
Yeah, it's really cool. These these are the more like along the lines of the minor changes that I was kind of talking about earlier that are gonna like keep this meta going forward. EVing your Pokemon in different ways to um, allow them to perform different roles is going to be a large part of it. And yeah, since we've kind of seen that team before, I'm going to keep it moving along and talk about this other top 4 team from Andrew, which doesn't have anything crazy new. We've seen the not, I wouldn't say anything besides there's this loaded dice Koraidon. Like, we just came off of Regulation H, and they were not done playing with loaded dice. They were not done using Scale Shot with loaded dice. And personally, I'm still not here for it. Top 4, I cannot deny the success of it. I still think Flame Charge seems better, but it's really cool to see. And obviously, there's an Umbreon. I'm not going to ignore the Umbreon.
Yo, we got
yeah,
a
does
hype
anybody else have any
chest.
thoughts about this team?
Yeah, this seems cool. I don't really get why it's Scale Shot too. I mean, I guess the Dragon stab is nice, but I feel like Incineroar is annoying, right? Being able to intimidate it. I guess you have to Entei the turret. Not the turret, but like not getting intimidated by it's nice. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like Clear Emlet's pretty good too.
My thought is, as somebody who's willing to experiment with non clear amulets on my ice horse, I've done that before and run the Never Melt Ice. Um, Ice Horse doesn't care about Icy Wind. That's like a real move that Ice Horse is just like, if I get intimidated, like I planned for that. That is part of my game plan. And maybe they're planning on their Koraidon getting intimidated or having ways to get around that. The one that really annoys me is like when I can get Icy Winded on my Koraidon. It's supposed to be, like you against the Flutter mains, because there's still a lot of Flutter mains in the format using Icy Wind and boost your energy, speed. And I just flame charge them. My Terrifier, Clear Amulet, Koraidon, I just go for Flame Charge. I get a speed boost on them, and they can't do anything about it for the most part. Unless they got Thunder Wave, which, that's definitely a day ruiner. But, I don't know. Scale Shot, it's not quite the format that we had in Regulation H, where there was a ton of Pokemon to hit for neutral damage with that attack, and also, like, Sash Pokemon that you wanted to KO. Like, it'll seems like it'll be handy against a Chenpao, and maybe I don't know. I had one other example the other day that I thought of, but I cannot.
Like a Rock Pond?
That's a KO.
Right.
Probably does KO Rock Pond. Yeah.
But that's the thing. I don't even think it KOs. Like, I'm not even sure it KOs these Pokemon.
You definitely
Calc is
KO
right. Maybe we'll
Chenpao.
come back for it.
It's relevant for Smeargle. It's relevant for Smeargle.
Oh, true. Smeargle. That's actually pretty funny. But yeah. Enough about the Koraidon. Umbreon. It's kind of funny. These Koraidon teams we see on Luca's team here in 5th. Usually that slot is a Ditto. And the Ditto is kind of an answer to the horses. Focus Sash Ditto, it's very good at turning into either Calyrex. If it turns into Calyrex Ice, very good at reversing that Trick Room. Calyrex Ice can't KO opposing Calyrex Ice that easily, and so it's very good in that matchup. And then against opposing Shadow Rider, you have a Sash Shadow Rider against their, either maybe also a Sash Shadow Rider or a Shadow Rider that's been chipped down so it's no longer sashed or something like that. And you can just, even if you lose the speed tie, you've got a focus sash basically, and you can just Astral Barrage them right back. Terror Ghost also just like super good in a number of situations because it's just kind of like one of the best Terras. Just a tool to be immune to fake out and stuff like that, but it could also boost your Astral Barrage, which is kind of funny. But yeah, the Umbreon functioning in a similar role here, I would say, but it does have some, cool things going for it. Inner Focus being a natural fake out immunity, Foul Play doing very well into both of those horses, and Moonlight using the Sun well. We've seen Umbreon in the past in some restricted formats. I don't know if this is I don't think it should be more popular than it is. I think like a niche finish here and there is probably about right for it, but it's not unviable. I will definitely say that.
Yeah, it got top 4 at Los Angeles Regionals on the Zacian team as well. So it's been it's the second top cut that it's gotten, I think, this format. But yeah, absolutely. And I think that between this and between the Yawn Dozo that the Dawei was using, it's interesting to see that multiple people have gone back to this tech, trying to I guess, slow the game down, stop people's setup options. I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping up nearly as much to figure out exactly why. Like Yawn Dozo makes a little more sense when you have Stealth Rocks and Sand Tomb, and it's better into like the Combine Kyogre teams, for example, that really want to slow the game down. I don't really think Umbreon has that the tempo that lets it do it like as effectively, the typing that lets it do it as effectively. But it is interesting to see both of those teams kind of utilize the same strategies.
Yawn is really good against Dynamax, Audi. I don't know if you know this.
Right? Yeah.
Dude, neither of you guys actually played that, huh? Oh my god, we're surrounded by children!
I played them.
No, honestly, it's for the better.
If you played Dynamax formats, you're actually an old head now. It's true.
Oh my god, dude. You know what? I envy you, though. I don't envy you because you didn't get to play 17, and that's the greatest format of all time. But you missed Dynamax, and that's blessed. Absolutely blessed. Tanner used, I believe, the same team as Ryan Haig, if I'm not
yes, they work together, I think.
Right, that makes sense. And so, yeah, they've been a big fan lately. At least I know Ryan has. Ice Riders, we keep it a tab on other Ice Riders. And Ryan's been a big fan of Chenpao lately with Ice Rider, which still is kind of like an enigma to me. I get like it's also pretty solid into Miraidon. Ice Spinner just really good for getting rid of that terrain. And you got fast ice options and slow ice options. It's still pretty good at boosting Calyrex Ice's damage if that's something you're looking for. And I'm noticing now that the team does have close combat Calyrex Ice. I do like that sometimes. I feel like not enough people are willing to try that one. It's very solid in like a Terapagos matchup or doing just a bit more damage to an Incineroar if you're looking for that. But otherwise, the rest of the team is relatively boring. I gotta say, there's not a ton going on here.
I believe it's a 1-1 difference from his Worlds team that he ran with Paul.
Yep. They had Blood Moon, I think, instead of Giraffe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Giraffe is, just always going to be solid. I know that you mentioned it earlier at being, a typical partner to help deal with Shadow Rider. Maybe more people will start looking into Roaring Moon after this this big success for it. And the last team in top 8, oh yes, Carson. So Carson had a group of people on this team. I believe Chuppa was also using it, and actually, unfortunately, they had a team kill. Team kill finals, that's a little bit different than team kill a little bit.
Before cut is the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. That was rough.
The winning in for cut, yes. Super, super sad to see. But yeah, this is a I believe this is very close to what Pato used at Birmingham, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the same sets Pato ran it. They were talking about this in our server.
Right.
It's actually Goggles and Sin. Yeah. So for Rocky,
Okay.
but everyone else
Okay.
is the same.
Oh man, I'm tabbing back and forth, and the Groudon doesn't change. He's in the same spot, and it's the exact same moves in the exact same order. How funny. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I always try to put my moves in like a really cursed order. I think I'm gonna check Chuppas to see if he does it too. No, no, let's look at the same.
No.
I always try to like see like protect at the bottom. That's where people expect protect to be, and so I'll put protect like move 2, and then just
That's
like a bunch
crazy.
more moves after that, and it's just like I hope that it tilts people. But I don't actually think
Well,
most people even notice.
no. I've gotten away with that at locals. No one ever told me at a regional that they missed a protect because I put it in a weird place. But the trick, especially since the regional team sheet is laid out differently, but the trick is you put all your protects, especially if you have a lot of protects, in the same column except for one that's in a different column. So that's the one that is unexpected, and that's the one that they
Oh,
missed,
I
right?
think
So
that's what I did. My team had 6 protects, but I had protect on Lando for the first one. Everybody else was the bottom.
I
Oh
think
wait,
my
hold on, hold on.
OTS is
yeah, he
in
knows the
different
strat.
spots in every one. I don't think there's a single
Unintentional.
protect in the same spot for me. I think my Calyrex is the top. I think Ursaluna's the third, and then Ogerpon's the second.
That's
Oh
how
my
I do
god.
it. That's how I do it. I love it because it's just like gross. It just looks disgusting. Justin, you said, yeah, you have protect on the top for there, and the
Yeah, everybody
oh
else is
no,
on the
wait,
bottom. Oh, actually, no, wait. There's one there.
Oh,
There.
he's got multiple.
yeah, okay, okay, it's a
Oh,
little mixed up. That's
a
funny.
little.
Not enough people, spend time on the important things, which is the team sheet meta and how you fill out your team sheet. And also the order you put your mons in team preview and stuff like that. These are the factors, and like, whether or not your mon has a certain mark or if it is or isn't shiny. Like, people need to spend more time on this and less time laddering, less time team building, because these are like the difference between, winning and losing a regional. Justin, do you agree?
I agree.
Okay, good to hear.
I mean, really, like anything that you could do to distract your opponent for even a couple seconds is an advantage for you, right? So you should have like the coolest profile photo, so they're not thinking about the game; they're thinking about how cool your profile photo is, right? That's a
true.
really important
That's
one.
true. That's true.
I in Gen 7, I tried to make the like single ugliest outfit that I could because it tilted one of my locals. And it's like, yeah, I'm wearing all teal. I'm wearing all green. I'm looking like a fucking ogre pawn out here. And it would tilt them every time. It was great.
I had that happen
man,
at
I missed that.
I
What's
had it happen at Toronto where my Sinisha was masterpiece form, and someone thought that the Sinisha had different stats based on the form.
Oh my god.
So that is the only time that has ever come up for me because I had Sinisha masterpiece. They thought it was a different form of Sinisha altogether.
Wait, what's the
Maybe
difference? Is it just like a different like color
There is
masterpiece or
a small mark on the bottom of the teacup that you cannot see in game.
what?
yes, that is actually the
That is
difference.
the only difference.
So I thought it's like a cooler detail. That's
No, it's
okay.
so silly. Somebody said maybe develop some distracting habits. This is starting to get like I like definitely don't like do anything with outside the rules, but I did have one in 2019. I was playing at a regional, and literally the whole time that like I was playing against my opponent, they were just looking at me in the eyes, like just like dead staring into my eyes, and it was like horrifying.
That's
And
scary.
they did beat me. I don't think because of the eye staring, but it was definitely unnerving. They were just like looking me down, and I'm just like, you're not sane. What is up? What is up here? What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
They're trying to get a read on you. They're trying to see if you have any tells, and then they can make their moves accordingly.
But see, this is what Jody's saying. He does the same thing, but he clicks his moves fast, which is like, how are you getting insight into what I'm thinking if you've already locked in your moves?
Yeah, Jody kind of does that too. Actually, I've played Jody a few times now. It's like a quick stare though. He kind of like looks up, kind of see. That's it.
Yeah, that's the like Smash player in him. Is like
Yeah.
they're trying to like read your body language to understand like
Yeah.
are you gonna attack left? Are you gonna attack right? What kind of reaction are you doing on this turn? I feel like now that I put it out there, like I'm gonna play against somebody in the Twitch chat here, and they're just gonna be like staring me down, dude. Leave me alone, okay? I have my own tactics that I use to tilt people that I won't reveal until after the stream. But anyways, are there any other teams in the top cut that we definitely got to talk about? I'm looking here now. What was the actual size of the top cut? Was it like top 20?
22.
I think it was 18.
Was it? Oh, was it though?
It was 20. It was
Oh,
20.
it was after. Oh no, it was
20.
20. I guess it was David was the last person. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Oops.
So there are a couple appearances of the team that Pengi used, so I'll jump to that one right now. We were just talking about the Kyogre finish at Birmingham last weekend. It was the Calm Mind variant that we had seen at Worlds. I believe Pengi was using something close to this before Reg G wrapped up last season. And this is a very different approach to Kyogre. This is the in your face, very aggressive offense type of Kyogre. Not the slow paced, one that somebody uses at my locals and makes every round go to timer. But instead the one that is trying to finish 2 matches at the pace of 1. If you play against this one, the games are gonna go fast. But yeah, do you guys have anything else to mention about this team? I know that we've kind of seen it before, but it had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 deep runs, so solid for it. And definitely one that people are going to have to start respecting going forward.
Yeah, I mean, this seems actually a little bit annoying. We prepped for it a little bit because our Kyogre matchup can sometimes be scary because we're not like a water Cali or Dragon or Grass, so the water spells can be scary. And I believe Chase actually knocked out Nicholas Donnelly on it, and then Sheeling was able to kind of revenge him. Just because the upper part of their Kyogre, I think their Kyogre was actually max speed because it outsped our Roaring Moon and Tailwind. So that was a weird interaction. But yeah, it's a cool Kyogre team. It's like standard hyper offense. I'm pretty sure Penny actually used something like this at Indianapolis. Like a 1 month difference, I think. But yeah, it's a standard ogre, which it's usually kind of scary for Cali Ice. You just gotta play preserve your pieces a lot better than them. That's the main issue.
Yeah, the thing is I would argue that the Calm Mind one was the standard, at least for the past week or so. And so I was starting to
I meant standard HO ogre, not the Calm Mind one.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I definitely was starting to sleep on this approach at least a little bit. And if I was prepping for Kyogre going into the tournament, I might have let this one slip by. And maybe that's why it made such a deep run, is that people were kind of sleeping on the more aggressive approach to Kyogre, thinking I've got time, they're gonna set up a Calm Mind or 2, and it's nah, actually hold this turn 1 Mystic Water Spout.
Yeah, and we.
What'd you say, Billy?
You can go.
No, you go ahead. You go.
Okay. Yeah, I would have been thrilled personally to play this Kyogre because if the Calyrex resists
you have Terra Water.
Yeah, because if the Calyrex is Dragon or Water Terra, it does just make this matchup kind of trivial, and I don't know how this beats Trick Room teams other than just clicking Helping Hand Water Spout and hoping it kills everything. So I do think to a degree your Trick Room matchup is kind of abysmal, but I don't think he played a single hard Trick Room team the entire tournament. So definitely definitely not something that he or that those specific archetypes would have a matchup into.
I mean, to some extent, he does have Protect on Kyogre, which is something that. So I've seen the Serena Kyogre teams around, right? I think Daniel Yu used it to get top 32 at Worlds, but that was Assault Vest, and that was the other very common variant that Shiliang had popularized at NAIC as well with the Wochen, right? And so when I'm prepping for Kyogre, I'm thinking Assault Vest Kyogre either with Serena or Wochen, and I'm thinking the Calm Mind version, but this version does have Protect. So between the Life Orb Urshifu that can KO your poke, the way I would approach it is get a KO, protect, try to stall out Trick Room and work from there. And that is something that you don't necessarily expect these more offensive Kyogre teams to have Protect, to have the ability to reposition. Normally their choice item or their Assault Vest, and that is something that's a little different on his team.
I do think Kyogre is going to be a menace in this upcoming GC. I can believe it. There's so many different items and sets for it. Of course, if you see the exact same 6, that's always the fun part too, is when you're like, oh, I've seen this team before. I saw this in the top cut of the most recent tournament. And then they just remix all the sets just to troll you. And it's like, oh, I've been gamed. I've been gamed.
Yeah, you are going to see a Choice Scarf Kyogre with this exact same 6 and lose to it. It's going
to happen. Yeah.
I'm wondering if people are gonna just throw Dark Ursh on your team. I think I've actually already seen that. Somebody throw Dark Ursh on this just for the sake of it for best of one.
Double Dark for no reason.
Yeah, just for no reason, just to be haha, I got you. But
yeah,
I don't know. Come on. How funny though. Yeah. So, are there any other teams that were like super weird that made a deep run? I'm trying to look. Oh, do we have to
We
talk about
talked about the.
ESM's team? Do we have to talk about
That's a good
ESM's
one.
That's,
Yeah.
team?
that's one. Yeah.
I was trying really hard not to make this team show up, guys. I want you to know I did my best and I failed. And you know what? It seems like ESM made the right call because he did pretty damn well with it. I was like, please be normal. Just please. Like, just run Zamazenta. Like, you are like the father of Zamazenta. You had this figured out before everybody else. Just run the stupid shield dog. And he's like, no, I can't. I can't. And no, ESM needs to continue cooking because like when he follows his instincts, it does pretty well for him. This team, I said that not a single person is going to sit down and know what is about to happen to them, and we're playing open team sheet. Like that is the beauty of this.
I didn't know anything. He cooks me. I didn't know
Oh,
how fast Bruno was.
did you guys play in day one?
Yes,
Right?
yes. And we faced last round 8, and I knew he was a stream, but I didn't really know anything. Like the Brubonnet, I have speed on Calc, so I didn't know how fast Brubonnet was. So he killed my ogre pawn, and he spored me before I moved. And I was like, wait, that is that supposed to happen? Like Brubonnet was faster than my Calc, and then Gouging Fire, in Sun, Flare Blitz did 90% to my Roaring Moon. Like that was nuts. It's attack boosting in Sun, so like, it's like crazy strong. But like, I guess the issue like with our Calc size team is that like we don't have many fire resist, and it's kind of hard to like. I kind of like a Shielding's top 4 game. Like I don't think Shielding put him as a top 4, but like kind of shows like how easy Karena can snowball if you're not playing properly. And that's kind of what he did to me. I didn't know the matchup, and he kind of like smoked me. That's exactly what happened.
That's what he wants. That's just what he wants. He doesn't want to go into any game with his opponent saying, all right, I'm playing against blank archetype. I've seen this before. Here's what I do. Instead, he wants you to panic. And you know what? I would be panicking if I saw this.
I panicked. Yeah, no.
The thing
you have
is,
2 fire
this
resists,
looks
apparently.
like
well, the fire
team...
the fire does like 90 to my guy, so it's a little bit different.
It's not a fire resist if it's dying to the fire.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Adi.
Yeah.
ESM's team looks like a team that a 12-year-old would complete the DLC with, is the thing. So like if he was like, yeah, this is my first regional, right? Like you would just totally underestimate him. You would never see this coming, right? This looks like someone. So he has the debuff of you knowing it's a good player. And otherwise he could totally get away with that.
Yeah. He only Pokemon Scarlet. He all the pro ones.
I think I saw this one the other day. Someone was like, "This team is top 64 on ladder," and I'm like, "I know who this is." So funny. But yeah, that is so funny. Oh my god. Where was I? But yeah, ESM's team definitely a really cool one. Would have been cool to see it go deeper. Unfortunately, fell short in just the win and in. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams in the top cut or top 16 that we missed that deserved a mention.
Talk about the Zacian team.
Oh yeah, there is Zacian. Jackson, I think
8-0.
started out 8-0, right?
Yeah, he was 8-0. Yeah.
Not bad. No, a really, really solid start. And then unfortunately, it looks like I had a rough start day 2, but still managed to lock up the top cut. And yeah, this team is very in-your-face aggressive and seems like it's abusing the type chart in like as concise ways as possible. To make that make sense in like real words, basically like Zacian and Reggie Drago are really good at covering for each other because Behemoth Blade and Dragon are really good. And then Ogerpon and Urshifu are also really good at covering for each other because, you know, if you're getting hit by really hard water moves, usually you're going to use like a water or grass type to resist those surging strikes. And Ogerpon's able to hit both of those super effectively. And if you're trying to use a dragon type, well, again, Zacian and Drago are right there. So this team is just blasting you with the type chart, and the attacks are hitting as hard as possible. If you don't have like every turn mapped out, you're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying, I think that Zacian is maybe the single most underused restricted Pokemon. Everyone who uses Zacian seemingly like does well with it. Like every good player who decides I'm going to be a Zacian player in this format has popped off with it. Has like we saw, I think it was Grant and Kian both made day 2 worlds with it. You know, did well at regionals. I know Aragon, who's a DOU player, primarily like went to his first regional, I believe, at Los Angeles and got top 16 with it with like Mist Suicune on that
Oh yeah,
team.
that seems weird. I remember that.
Yeah, and then here Jackson's popping off with his Asian team as well. Like I really think that like yes, it has some big it has some weaknesses for sure, but I really think that this restricted is really strong. It's really good into a lot of the top restricteds, especially good into Calyrex Ice, right? Like it makes Calyrex Ice miserable. And yeah, I just think it's surprisingly well positioned, and people are not really exploring it or using it enough.
Play rough. That's all I have to say. You can't pay me to use a single target attacking restricted that doesn't use that also can miss. Like, come on. I already don't like the Calm Mind ogres that only rely on Origin Pulse and Groudon. I'm not even like Riley level of like you can't use inaccurate moves, but like there's some really good spread moves. I don't know if you've heard of them in this format.
Garage, no.
I think those are. I'm all about those ones. I think Zacian's like. I guess they get. You know what? I take it back. They have a pretty good spread move. Dragon Energy is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've heard Keen complain too many times that player misses to know that Zacian's it's not bad, but you gotta be a true gambler to use it.
Yeah.
If people are rolling up with Jumpluff Groudon, I mean, you can at least try Zacian.
Well, I'm not touching Jumpluff Groudon either, but yeah.
I don't know if I've told this one on stream before or not, but people love to ham it up for some reason in their like hack stories and stuff like that, and it's like super obnoxious. I don't want to hear your hack story, of course, but I remember one time in 2022 somebody, it was like round 3, and they were like, I've missed 9 play roughs in a row. I'm like, buddy, you haven't clicked 9 play roughs yet. There's no way. Like, I don't know what kind of game you would be in like that you've clicked play rough 9 times already. Like, I don't care. It's just so funny. This was not anybody that I knew though. I just overheard it at the venue. Anyways, yeah, I think then I was gonna say I forgot about this team. I saw the regular bear Iron Crown, but I forgot we've actually seen this one before. It's Riley's World.
Riley's team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some weird teams that made D2, or do you want to keep talking about good teams?
There's a lot of weird teams.
There's a lot of weird teams.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that we do gotta touch on. I'll go back over to Cut Explorer because why does this Pokemon pop up at more than one? Hold on.
The Rhydon? Yo, you gotta pull up Barzon's team. That team is wild.
Why is Rhydon at multiple uses? Hold on. Let me filter it only to day 2. Let's only look at good team. What? Why is it? It's still a day 2? I'm kidding.
Yeah. That's 2 day 2.
Okay.
It's so stupid.
I legitimately think this Pokemon is good. It's not like good enough that you should be putting it on every team, but if you want one Pokemon that beats the Irubega Miraidon team, I mean, you could do a lot worse. It tanks the Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleams pretty well. You Terra and you can't get hit by Draco. You can't get hit by the electric moves. High horsepower, like it's got an attack stat. It like actually hits pretty hard. I don't know about this set in particular, right? Like I saw the other one had Terra Blast, which I think made a little more sense. Swords Dance maybe a little greedy, but like I legitimately think that Rhydon could see more play if Irubega Miraidon continues to be this like massive threat in the metagame. Now that and I say that Rhydon is like the least weird thing about this team.
I agree. I was gonna say, like, I can understand you defending Rhydon, but can you defend Lapras?
No.
What about water absorbed Zapdos Galar?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I want to know how they got their hands on a water absorbed Galarian Zapdos.
What?
I'd take that, dude. Terra Fire has so much synergy on water absorbed Galarian Zapdos. Team sheet error aside, though, I think actually I didn't open it up on standings. Let me double check. I think they played against Mont. Yes. And I was following along. Mont was like updating me on his run. And he's like, yeah, I just had to beat, Rhydon, Zapdos, Lapras, Lunala. And I was like, no, you didn't. Like, you're just lying. Like, those teams don't exist anymore. This This is from a lost era. I don't know. Again, I've been talking about a lot of boomer things this episode, but like I started back when like entry fees were not a thing, and so like literally anybody could play in a tournament. You would see like 6 EVs, or like people would just play with starter Pokemon, just like their in-game team, because like this. Obviously, this is a little more cooked than an in-game team, but like it's closer to an in-game team than some. This is nuts. Lapras and Rhydon.
Yeah.
I thought they were a Gen 1er because Mont actually didn't mention which Zapdos form it was. And so I thought it was just regular Zapdos, and I thought they were just like a Gen 1er, that they just loved Lapras, Rhydon, and Zapdos. This one's hilarious. Where is the other one? So 7 and 4.
Right? Oh my God.
Man,
This is wild.
This one's even weirder. What's the Glastrier here?
There is a Glastrier. There's a regular horse, Just if a Calyrex happens to stroll by, we have a horse ready for you. I don't know. It's got the clear.
I really think that I can't justify the Glastrier. But I really do think that Eternatus with Cosmic Power is like this is made multiple slots in day 2 at the last 2 regionals. Like it's around. Like it's something that like you should not expect to see necessarily, but like it should be on your radar by this point. After there was one that went 8-3 at Birmingham, there were another one in day 2, and now there's this one. So it is something that should be on your radar.
Right.
And Rhydon now apparently.
Rhydon, yeah. Because that's 2 day 2s, right?
This team is.
This one, yeah. I don't really get like the other one made like some sense, but I don't really get like what this one's trying to do, to be honest.
All we need is a Rhydon with the other Galarian bird, and we'll have the Galarian trio with Rhydon in day 2.
They must have team built together, right? Like,
dude, where's the Rhydon? Yeah, you gotta use it with Articuno so that you can set Trick Room for your Rhydon and EQ next to it and Scare Off Intimidate. So much natural synergy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's my GC team. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, this one got top 32 in UK. Are you talking about Rhydon? I think I might remember this. Let's go. Let's do it in Cut Explorer.
No,
the Rhydon?
No, this is my Rhydon.
No, we're not talking about Rhydon. Maybe we're talking about a different.
Which one are you talking about?
Eternus, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ricardo Apamea went 8-3 with
yeah. There's a bunch of Eternus that kind of popped up.
I think this version, the Ricardo's version, makes a lot more sense to me as like the way I kind of built it out. But no, I think that's legit.
I mean, so we're just talking about ESM's team, and ESM has told me like he basically has I don't remember how he phrased it, but I like to call it like ESM's Shitmon theorem, which is if you use bad Pokemon, they normally have specific enough strengths and weaknesses that you have to use more bad Pokemon to complement them, and that is why like it actually makes sense for a bunch of stupid looking Pokemon to all end up together. That's like his excuse for using Latios and Galar Moltres and T-Tar in Regulation G all on the same team or whatever, or Chandelure, is that he's like, creating a bunch of like very specific holes in his team that can only be filled by Shitmons. I guess is how I like to refer to him. I don't know if he calls them Shitmons, but
I feel like ESM's like take on Shitmons like I mean, do you feel like I think his old teams that he used are definitely they make more sense I think than Lapras and some of these other ones. So
yes, yeah, fair enough. I'll give him that. Maybe just barely.
Then as far as other teams go, there's a few others I want to talk about. First off, there were 2 Heatran players that went 8-3, and they DM'd me. They wanted to be on Tub Takes, but they had a really cool take on Heatran. So I wanted to show that.
They're right next to each
other.
other.
What was the stat,
Zoomlens. I remember hearing about this. Yeah.
What was the stat, Adi?
What was the stat? It had the highest win rate. Yeah, it has Heatran had the highest win rate out of any Pokemon this tournament. Because they were 3 people who brought the team together, and they 8-3, 8-3, 5-3, and then there's another random Heatran that went 5-3 as well. And it's really cool because Zoomlens, for those who don't know, is an item. It is not wide lens. It is different. It is an item that boosts your accuracy by 20%, not 10%, 20%, if you move after the target of your move. And And so as a result, you can much more consistently get your Will-O-Wisps off with basically 100% accuracy, and your Magma Storms off, which I think is normally 75% accurate, if I recall correctly. So that boosts it up to 93-ish, I think. That's what my mental math. I don't know.
Do you take the percentage and multiply it by 1.2? Is that what it is? It's not.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 90% then. It's 90%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the Will-O-Wisp at 85 it's 100.2 02% accurate. So it would be perfectly accurate Will-O-Wisp. That's cool.
This is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I remember someone talking about this, like it kills Chen Pao. It's like why they had it. This Magma Storm Chen Pao.
Mm-hmm.
Break this hash.
I like that a lot.
And then
that is
it traps people for Screamtail.
Yes, right. Encore trap. That's cool. Didn't Jamie Boyd run Zoom Lens at UAC last year? He tried.
Zoom Lens? Was it a Zoom Lens team? Maybe. Oh wait.
I don't remember. I remember he ran something funky with Heatran. That's all I remembered. But this is cool. That's a cool take. And then I like Terra Bug's nice for the Zama matchup too. You can use Heatran to beat Zama.
So that was the thing about it, is that they were running it to, have a tech for Zama, and I think somebody went and did the digging, because it was like, if you're gonna do this, you better not lose to Zama. And I'm pretty sure that the group did all beat Zamas, so I think that they I think they've successfully pulled that one off. I'll double check here to fact check them, but maybe they just dodged it, which would be a crime, because you have a whole Techmon for the matchup and you just don't fight it.
Yeah, I'm curious if they brought to any other matchups besides Zama.
I think it could have its place against Ice Rider still, in a way. But yeah, this is a really cool tech, I gotta say. Also, bouncing back from O2, that's honestly, that's pretty commendable.
They didn't face any Zama.
Oh, no Zamas. That's so sad.
These are his last 2 rounds.
Wait. Oh, no. Oh, I missed one. Okay, the first guy didn't.
Unfortunately, they were already eliminated the first round of day 2, but in the following 2 rounds, they did fight Zamas and take them down.
Good stuff.
But what does Everett's team do against Heatran? All 6. I guess it's a Ditto. The other 6 Pokemon all lose to it. Other 5 Pokemon.
Oh, you're saying, yeah, this is actually pretty funny. I don't know how Everett ever beats Heatran.
Terra Blast Ground.
It's
Terra
right.
Blast.
You force the Terra out, and then
you Dragon Energy it.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I forgot that
accuracy.
That Zacian is like part ground type now.
It's a ground.
You gotta remember.
Give it high horsepower. It's actually a horse.
That's true.
There was a Snorlax in day 2. Let's go Snorlax.
Yeah, that's my boy Luhao. One of the Texas locals, Dallas local. He's been grinding locals. He would come to Austin locals all the time. Yeah, really cool to see him make day 2 with Snorlax. Also with Yawn, right? So another example of that overachieving.
Gio told me this guy only uses Snorlax. Part of the world still.
Honestly, commendable. The main thing it does right now is that it beats both horses, I guess. Beats is maybe a strong word, but
it's in front of it.
Astral Mirage and Glacial Lance.
Yeah.
Between Thick Fat and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I know another Pokemon that does that. It's called like Incineroar, so I don't know.
It might be better.
It takes their own.
So I also got to I got to check out Zach Emerizian's team. He's always one of the most creative team builders. And he had an interesting take on Duskmane, which is not a Pokemon that I've seen do well at all.
Oh yeah, this team. I don't get this team.
I saw this team and I said, like, Zach, you have to realize you're doing it for the sake of it at this point. Like, this is not like I'm like, you know what? Everyone's allowed to play the game for their own reasons, of course. But like, you got to be doing it for the sake of it at this point. Like, you got to realize, like, you are using. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Shipmon theorem. If you're using Duskmane, you need something like a Frostmoth to fill exactly that void.
My main question to him is, like, what does Duskmane even do in this format?
Yeah, I would ask the same question. I'll tell you what. I bet the close combats don't hurt too badly when you Terra normal. Like what actually, deals damage to you, because you got prism armor with your Terra normal.
Oh, that's true.
No other
hey, you said there's 2
weaknesses.
relevant steel moves. There's a third one right there.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
stop.
Wait, I probably would have lost to Zach, bro. He is Wyguard Frostmoth.
He was targeting you.
Yeah, strike for my Kali. And then Frostmoth beats my Landorus.
Yep, that's true.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Zach actually put out a Google Doc FAQ with about the team. If you and a rental code on Twitter if you want to check it out. I'm dropping the Google Doc in the chat.
Oh my god. Why?
This is so good. It's all answered here.
Yeah, wow. Thank you.
I like niche steel types.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he did get
apparently.
second he got second at Vancouver Regionals with Solgaleo, right? So he does like the niche steel types.
I see.
This is funny. I do know a certain Trick Room setting restricted that learns a spread move, and I might prefer it, but
but it loses to Duskmage, so you can't use it.
That's true. No one chooses my team anymore, actually.
Honestly, I would make it work. I think I'd still beat the
time to drop
I believe
and go in.
Yeah, Ice Rider wash, Duskmane up.
Hard counter team it with Duskmane.
I'm looking for one more team before we move on to Calc.
Do you think we've edged Jacob enough? I think we've let him on.
Gotta bring up Toxicroak, because apparently Toxicroak made day 2. Okay, what? Jacob, you realize it went 6 and 5, man. Like, come on. Like,
yeah.
Jacob is here. Oh hell yeah, Jacob. I'm glad that you're here. We're here finally talking about your Mon.
Yeah, Croak.
It's still a day 2. You bet it is. I'm still waiting for your day 2 with Toxicroak though. But honestly, the only person real enough to run Thunder on Raging Bolt. I know that it actually has rain, so it makes sense, but that's pretty fun.
Wait, it's Thunder Kyogre with no spout.
I mean, it needs the coverage. It needs all the coverage.
Oh, okay.
How else do you beat opposing Kyogre and other water types? You don't have any.
Okay.
Don't go after me. I think I ran that one at a tournament back in like 2016, like with Primal Kyogre. I might have, but I don't know. Anyways, somebody was asking in Tub the other day. I think it might have been Donald. Was like, is King Gambit viable in this format? And like, is there like, what are the reasons not? I guess. And I'm curious if you guys have any takes. I said no. I don't think there's any real reason to use the Pokemon right now.
Urshifu exists.
Yeah, Urshifu exists. It's Terra Hog that. I mean, I guess with goggles you can get around some of the ways to do it. But, like Follow Me is annoying for like the Ogrepons, like Ogrepon Ursh, and then Landorus now being more in the format. And then like just stuff like Chiyu and Groudon. Yeah, I don't know what King Gambit does besides for Shadow Rider. I know Jimmy did well with it actually. That's like the only King Gambit that did decent.
Yeah, I think it's just way too hostile towards it. Like, because it's a Terra Hog, you're already taking that away from your restricted, which hinders you a lot, because you want to Terra it in pretty much every matchup you're going to bring it to. So it just makes the Mon very unusable for that reason, because it kind of fills that role of you want to support around it. It's not where it used to be, where it was the strongest thing that you could support it. You can support a Koraidon or an Ice Rider or a Shadow Rider, and there's a lot better, just generally better pieces to support. So I think because it relies way too heavily on being supported, especially in a meta that has so many good fighting types, it just makes it very irrelevant in the current metagame.
Yeah.
If you want to beat the fuck out of Shadow Rider, though.
That's exactly it, right? If you really hate facing down Incineroar, Shadow Rider, Clefairy, that like it does mess up that core. It is really good.
You left out the Urshifu. You left out the Urshifu that they
have.
Yeah, I mean
maybe just Instant Shadow Rider, but Rilla Ursh, you know, even Instant Ursh.
Yeah. I mean, it does suck into Urshifu, and you do need to have like a little bit. You need to have a little support for it, but
yeah.
No, I think that outside of that specifically, I don't think there's really a reason to use it.
Umbreon, though, I can support that. If you want to use stupid dark types, use Umbreon.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of Pokemon, I can't really see why you would use. There was a whole crew of people on Bastiodon, that I saw. I saw them tweeted out as well.
Yes,
they've been cooking and at SoCal locals. It's been all over there. Someone in chat was asking, "Hey, what Miraidon team should I use?" I got you. I figured it out. It's this one. I don't really get it, and I think that when you have like, I think 6 people brought the team and 5 of them got points, but the best finish was 7-4, and like to me that's not a success personally. I think that if you have that many shots on goal, you should be doing better than that. But it was very consistent. Pretty much everyone got points with it, so it does seem to have a high floor. It does seem to have some utility. And also, Ryan, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope you had a good stream.
How's it going, people? How's it going? We're towards the end here of Tub Takes, but you'll still be here in time for Calc is Right, of course. We're gonna move into that in a second here, but yeah.
Any thoughts on Bastiodon?
I have some thoughts. Like,
go ahead. I guess we'll start with Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. My one of my locals used this for USPA, and he was saying that this hookup using. He's like, yeah, it's actually good. And then he lost the match with it, and I was like visibly disappointed that he used it. And then to see it here, I'm just really confused what it does. Like, I get it's for like Ice Rider and stuff like with Wide Guard, but there are so many better Wide Guard options. I feel like Bastiodon's is a handicap. But yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Billy?
Yeah, in a vacuum, it is very good into Ice Rider, like generally speaking. And I guess on this team specifically, I don't understand why you would want to 1v1 the Ice Rider, because you have an Iron Hands that does that already for you.
Exactly.
And like, it does a pretty good job into it. So I don't really understand on this team specifically why, because I feel like it would be this is going to be an Ice Rider answer and there's nothing you can do about it. I think just genuinely the application also doesn't work, because every Ice Rider team either has like an Urshifu or a ground type, whether that's Ursaluna, Blood Moon, or Landorus, that just blows it up. So I think it's just the application in a vacuum, it works, but once you factor in the partners, there just is no real reason to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tear grass in the Bastiodon. You don't have tear Miraidon for the Ice Rider. So yeah.
I was gonna say, if this thing got Gyro Ball and Trick Room, I'd be all over it. Stack Attack, bring it back. That guy's awesome.
There was a Mon that got points with Gyro Ball and was very slow and was on a winning into day 2.
Gyro Ball.
What Gyro Ball?
His name is Fortress. There was a Fortress on a day.
Fortress?
On a winning into day 2.
5-2.
Oh, on the winning in for day 2. I see.
Yes, the winning into day 2.
Oh my god!
That's Alvin.
What?
Wait.
Oh, it's AV Ground.
I saw Alvin beat someone good too.
Oh.
Let me see. I'll find it for you.
I thought I saw that.
He beat Zachary.
Zachary. Yeah. Oh no, he lost to Zach.
Oh no, he lost to him.
Oh, tough.
Never mind. Alvin was the Malamar one trick in Red Gauge. It's cool to see him picking up another shit mod and using it.
It's cool.
All right. Well, maybe we've looked at a lot of shitmons today, so a lot of inspiration for the Calc is Right. I don't know.
Okay, no. We got one more. We got to do one more, which is I think I see Zach Weed in chat, and he made day 2 with the Venusaur Koraidon team that 45 Mice had built, and I know Justin Knox was in my DMs telling me the team with the sauce, telling me it had, if it hits your sleep powders, it has good matchups into everything. I know Justin didn't do super well. Justin Knox didn't do super well this regional, but Zach managed to pull it off and make day 2, and I think was on stream with it. So and I will say, when I was watching the replays of it that Justin was sending me, the Iron Crown was very impressive. I was very impressed by what Iron Crown and DD and its matchups into the format, and I thought that was the cool part of the team when I was watching what he was doing with it.
Yeah,
that's
this
cool.
team,
like,
very different. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I was just saying, like the Crown, like we saw Riley use it. The main difference is like he was side spam instead of Miraidon. which makes a lot of sense. Just because like I was watching the Luca game on the Hammer stream, like the E forces were like because he wasn't bringing Shiyu, the Crowd Mirror, like just clicking E force for the whole team. So it's a cool secondary mode with the sun.
Yeah, and I don't know. There are some really nice situations for Tachyon Cutter. It's pretty cool against Rock Pond, pretty cool against Chen Pao, and even some of the darker Shifus. If you have enough offense investment, you can get those as well. So the Sash Darker Shifu. Yeah, it is a really tricky move that can break open some lines into people because they're relying on their Sash Pokemon to take those 2 hits. So I like that aspect a lot. Of course, you could always just run loaded dice on your Koraidon. That's always an option too. We see that. I don't know. I feel like this one might hit a little bit harder though. But yeah, the stream match with this was a pretty solid match to watch. If you like chaos, that was a very stressful one to watch. A lot of sleep powders being thrown back and forth. Ditto copying Venusaur to say like I'll sleep powder you right back. It was nuts. The stream set was just Koraidon on Koraidon violence, and it was a brutal bloodbath. But yes, okay, so let's go ahead and move on here to the final segment. The calc is right. For people that don't know, the general premise of the game is that we present a damage calc, and everybody else has to guess a number within the range. So Blizzard from Abomasnow, I guess with 220 investment, does 34 to 41. So if I said, how much is Blizzard doing to Abomasnow, and Audie said 40, he would get the point. It's just all for fun, just to see how well we know our stuff. Does anybody have a damage calc that they want to start with? Audie, do you got one?
Oh yeah, I got one.
All right, go ahead.
I was talking. I was talking up Rhydon, so we got to do a Rhydon calc to kick things off.
Yes.
Okay.
Starting out, so it is 4 attack adamant Rhydon. Let's say we don't want we do you really need the bulk if you want to live those Rhydon attacks? And you're facing down the Arbega team. You're actually facing down series Iron Hands, and it has 76 HP and 12 defense on his world team. It is the calc default. So 76 HP, 12 defense, taking down a Rhydon. Rhydon's clicking high horsepower into this Iron Hands. How much damage is it doing?
Ooh.
You don't get to know Rhydon's attack stat, by the way, guys. Don't look it up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, by the way, so yeah, we just mention out loud when we're locked in. You just say like I'm ready, and then Audie will call on people.
All right, I think I got a number.
I think I'm ready.
I am ready as well.
All right, we'll start with Billy. What you got?
So I know Rhyperior's attack stat is like 130. I'm pretty sure it has a really good. So I'm gonna assume Rhydon has like an 100 attack stat, and for that reason, I'm gonna assume it's doing like 45 to I'm gonna say 45 is my number.
All right,
45. All right, Justin, what do you think?
I was gonna say 55 because you were hyping this guy up earlier. You said this guy was strong, so I'll say 55.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
I was the lowest of the bunch. I have 42. I was not sure if I was 40 or 45, so I'm kind of striking the middle. I guess the lower of the middle. Rhydon, let's get you in here.
You guys know this is a super effective move, right? It's super
effective.
Yeah,
Iron Hands is like 108 defense, 154 attack.
Alex, read Rhydon's attack stat.
It has
it is 130, by the way.
I was not aware of that.
Okay, it is 130.
Oh no, we're all out of there. We're terrible.
Wait, what was it?
We discounted the goat.
It's doing 57.7 to 68.6.
Okay, so I was close-ish. I was like 2 off.
Yeah, you were close. Everyone else, man, y'all were sleeping on this Pokemon. This cleanly 2-shots it. It does a lot. It actually hits.
Jimmy with an excellent joke in the chat. Ryan's attack stat is easy to remember. It's the same as Kingler. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay. All right. Does anybody have one ready to go next?
I gotta make my own. I gotta figure it out real quick.
I think I got one.
Okay. You do got one?
So the only reason that I could imagine an Iron Leaves having Megahorn is to hit Calyrex Ice Rider before it paras. And so I was wondering if we all knew what max attack Jolly Iron Leaves does to a Ice Rider before Terra.
Does it have an item, or is it just like booster speed or something?
Life Orb.
Life Orb. Okay. I have a number.
Wait, sorry. Can you repeat the calc?
So max attack, Jolly Iron Leaves into max HP Ice Rider.
With Mega Horn.
With Life Orb, yeah. Life Orb Mega Horn.
Oh.
All right, I got a number.
I have my number as well, and no lie, I might have experienced this one today, so I hope I remember it well enough. I think I saw it happen to me. I was the Iron Leaves though. I was not the Ice Rider. That would make sense. Of course I was the Iron Leaves player. I'm not testing Ice Rider for any reason. Okay, I think we're all ready. So Billy, pick on somebody to start, and then just kind of call on people.
All right, let's go with Justin first.
Let's say 67%.
Okay. All right, let's go with Adi next.
I literally was gonna say 67, so now I have to say 69.
69. All right.
And Alex has the experience of this. Well, let's see what your prediction is, Alex.
I think it did like 77 to me. I think it was like way more than I was hoping to see. So I think it was like 77. Let's go ahead and run it. Calyrex Ice, close enough, or to that, and Iron Leaves. Is this? It is the default. Does it have Mega Horn in the set? No. Mega Horn. No, I think I'm a little bit too high. I think I have everything.
Wow, is Alex not running max HP Ice Rider?
Yeah, apparently I'm running a very frail Ice Rider.
Okay, so we were in that range, Audie. 67, 69.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're both.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Nice.
At least somebody knows their calcs today, because it would be sad if we just kept all whiffing.
I also had to experience this calc, I think, today.
Oh, man. All right. Justin, are you ready with yours, or should I go?
Yeah. I have an example.
Okay.
Because I thought of it earlier. This happened in my tournament run. How much do you guys think max defense Zamazenta with helping hand body press does to my impish 252 defense 220 HP Ogrepon? So helping hand body press. Helping
hand max defense body press. Got
it.
Both impish, I guess. Funny.
I guess they're both impish. Yeah.
It's a weird calc to be saying out loud, but yes, they are both impish.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
I think I got a number.
I got a number.
Okay. I guess Alex, you go first since you're ready first.
All right. I'm gonna say 92. You're not dying. You're not dying.
Okay. And then Billy.
Because of how much I think my Ogrepon does, and mine is a lot frailer, I'm gonna say 80. I think 80.
Okay. And Audie.
I'm gonna split the difference. I'm saying 85.
All right.
Okay.
If you guys got it all right.
If this spread isn't in there already, like, what are we doing? Oh my god. All out offense. That's so wrong. Oh my god. What are we? This is.
Alex, what are you doing? Fix your calc.
It is a very, like, I don't know, like, everyone kind of like just started, I guess, like, people were using this back at Worlds, but like it really is just coming up like as this main meta trend now.
I remember I proposed this on water Ogrepon before Nats, because we wanted to not get two shot by Ice Rider or Glacial Lance, right? That's the main calc.
We might all be in there.
I think we are.
You said Max.
Yeah, I think you're barely in there, Alex. It's Max is 92.
I'm barely sneaking in there. I don't know. Maybe that's the role you got in the game. Maybe they like really got close.
It was close. I remember he clicked it like assuming you would kill in my tougher 2 set, and it didn't kill. So yeah.
But yeah, I think we literally all get the point on that one. So
yeah,
not too bad. Okay. I guess it is me, and I'm always expecting to think of one while you guys are doing one, then I get too locked in on focusing on yours. And so I'm gonna think of one for this fortress. You know, the fortress using the
oh no.
The gyro
Using
ball.
Fissure?
I'm missing
Fireball
helping
what?
hand. No, it's right here. It looks like it's. I think I got it. Thank you though for making sure we're doing it right. Anyways, yeah, Fortress gyro ball. Don't even know. I want to say like how much is it doing to like a bulky flutter? Let me find like a bulky like booster flutter because like they run like physical defense to survive surging strikes, right? And so the calc default is pretty tanky. It's 212, 132. And I'm gonna say how much is Fortress doing with gyro ball? We're min speed. But we're not running any offense investment. We're like we wanted to like just be a tanky thing. So we're running 4 attack, like a neutral nature or something. 0 speed, the most like lowest speed Fortress can go. How much is Fortress's gyro ball doing to this bulky flutter?
Hmm.
I think I got a number.
This is so funny because I have no idea myself. I really didn't play a lot.
Yeah,
This seems like a really annoying one. I have no idea.
I got to guess.
I'm trying to think, is Jarvel actually stronger or weaker than surging strikes?
Great question.
Well, what I want to know is, what do you guys think Fortress's base attack stat is?
Save it for after your
really
guess because I want people to struggle.
I mean, I've got a number locked in. I'm not changing it, but I'm curious what people think because I do not know either.
I feel like it's like base 90. I guess.
I think it's like 75. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's even weaker than
I was
that?
gonna guess 70. I think it's much lower than 90.
Okay.
I don't think this one's
yeah, I guess it's probably more on the defense side, knowing Fortress, I guess. I think I have a number. I guess I'll wing it.
Billy, are you good too?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, we'll start with Adi since he was done first. Why not?
I think it is a roll to KO. I'm gonna say it's doing. I think it's not a favorable roll. I think it's doing 92.
Okay, Billy, over to you.
Gyro ball, I'm pretty sure caps out like 150 base power when you're min speed Fortress. So I think that's knocking out very easily into a flutter main. I think that's doing. I'm gonna say like 125.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm here for it. Justin.
I was gonna say like 86.
86. We've got some wildly different guesses. I gotta say, guys, I don't think everyone's gonna be right. I think that we're gonna have
someone's gonna be really wrong. We'll see.
Oh, it is base 90. Okay,
that's not bad. Base 90? Yo,
I legit guessed it.
Which is so funny because your answer is the lowest damage.
Yeah.
Relaxed 0. I think that all seems right. I suggested just 4 attack. Thank you for the helping hand. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gyro ball. I think nobody gets it. Oh my god.
Yeah, we underestimated.
So we're even like this no investment Fortress. If it gets intimidated, intimidate's pretty strong. Dang, instant chill. Okay. So if we get intimidated, it's doing a lot less. It has a roll to kill if it's intimidated. Adi, I forgot to say that it wasn't intimidated. Your answer would be right if it was intimidated.
Right.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Shoutouts to base power. I guess shoutouts to base power. I think Billy, you're the closest to getting the point for that one, just for respecting 150 goddamn base power.
I don't respect the Fortress still, but I clearly underestimated it. Of the flutter rate.
Does Steelix have less attack? That's not true. Wait, what are we saying? Steelix. Also, is Steelix even in the game? Oh, it's not even letting me find Steelix because that guy's not.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the game.
Damn.
Dang, they don't like Gen 2. Crobat's not in the game. I've had a couple of times where I'm like, oh, maybe Crobat could be cool. It's like, no. Because I think it's just because it has a unique typing. I don't think there's any other poison. We might have a poison flying now. Do we? Or is it still unique?
No, I don't think so.
Do we not have a Paradox Pokemon that's poison flying? I feel like that's like the perfect Paradox type.
No, we don't.
It's so funny that like Zubat being like, the reputation it has in like the common games or whatever. But it like to this day from Gen 1 is still like a unique type. Like that's just like so funny. You would think it would be like Pidgey, which is like, they've printed so many normal flying types, but that one's still just a rare one. Anyways, that's going to be it for the stream this week. That's going to be it for Tub Takes. So if you got in late, or came in, from one of the raids, and you wanted to see what we were talking about in the beginning, maybe when we talked about, Justin or Billy's teams here, you could find this on YouTube tomorrow. Adi posted the link in the chat. And we'll definitely make sure to link Justin's channel as well in the description, so you can check out the team report that's going to be coming out later this week, and you can learn how the Tangs do it. Yeah, I guess before we wrap up, do you guys have anything else that you wanted to mention? Any other shout-outs from you guys?
No, not really.
Awesome. Well, I gotta look around to see, because we've got a couple of raids from people that I'm like, oh, we sometimes raid those people after we're done with Tub Take. So I'm gonna have to check who is still streaming. But we're gonna throw you guys over, and then tune in for more streams later this week.
Someone in chat asks, Tub Takes in a hot tub when? Just so you know, we did that last year for April Fool's Day, and it was awful. It was miserable. We're never doing it again.
Wait, what was so bad about it?
I was in a tub.
We were dying. We were dying the entire time. It's so hot. You're not supposed to sit in a hot tub for 2 hours.
Maybe we shouldn't have committed to the bit and just had the water be like room temperature. Man. That was
also go watch the Chansey video I dropped on Monday. It's doing pretty well, but like it's I want to do more of those like history videos. I think they're really fun, and so check that out.
Yeah, watch those videos.
Let me know what you think.
Feels motivated to make more. But yeah, thank you guys again for being on, and until next time, we'll catch you guys later. Peace out, peeps. Peace out, Tub Nation.